All right, everybody, welcome to Pre-War, Post-War, and More. Today we're going to be talking about K-Line's smoking caboose. I have to apologize. Phone audio is not working correctly. Actually, my digital camera audio is not working correctly. So we're going to have some voiceover and some of the original audio. So uh, K-Line produced smoking cabooses in the 90s and early 2000s. They initially were just powered straight from the rail to the smoke unit, and they were very prone to overheating. Now, uh, later on, K-Line realized about this overheating issue. It was melting cabooses, and so they actually added um, a diode in there, and some of the cabooses had like a TMCC or conventional switch, and that would the TMCC switch would run it over to a diode. So right now we're going over a few things that you'll need. You may need some wire strippers. You need your smoking caboose. You need some soldering iron supplies, including flux and solder. Some screwdrivers. I got some hemostats here, some pliers. I have a multimeter, but you might not need to use that. Cradle. Um, And then we do have some 1 amp diodes seen here. Oh, yep. Some shrink tube is also great, since those diodes are bare metal. They're 1 amp diodes, and an assortment of screwdrivers, a little dental pick, some hemostats, a set of these precision screwdrivers, and then we have this. This is metal tape, and we're going to use this to help shield the plastic and keep that heat away from the sides and the top. And then we need this right here. These are 1 amp diodes, and this is what's going to help us calm down the smoke unit in our caboose. First, we've got to take these. I need to take the ladders here, and so what I do is I just grab a screwdriver and I put it under here and just pry carefully not to scratch anything. Same on the other side. There we go. The top will come off, and it's going to be connected here, so we'll need to undo that connector. Alright, and there's the top. You can see here's the little smoke funnel that funnels that smoke out. We've got the interior lighting here. Oh, got my grab rails here coming out. So we're going to take all this out, the board and the smoke funnel, and here's the bottom. And here's this is the on-off switch. A lot of times that diode for the TMCC conversion is under here, and then this is the smoke unit. Okay. All right. So this is where those precision screwdrivers come in handy, just like when we took it off. Screw here, screw here, screw here, and screw here. Be careful with this bulb that you don't break that bulb or the connection there. All right, so we removed the steam funnel there. It's got a little heat sink on it. On the later ones, the heat sink's a lot longer to try to dissipate that all that heat. Remove the PCB here with the lights on it, so we can get to put the reflective metal tape along the roof here of the caboose. Now we're going to cover the hole here, but we'll cut that out later and kind of just put that tape all around in here. We're not going to completely detach the board here. But now we need some of that aluminum tape. One thing I forgot to say that you need. Pair of scissors, okay? So not your wife's good sewing scissors. You want, these are not the nice ones, even though they look so fancy. We're going to cut a piece of this tape to fit down there in the bottom and cover a bunch of that area. So there we go. So, and you know, there's the hole here for the smoke. We'll cut that out later. Want it to be right up against the bottom of the cupola here. And we've got a couple of marker pieces here that mark where the PCB goes, the light there. Kind of flatten that out. Alright, so now one of the worst places on these cabooses is right here for melting. The places they melt are right here and right here. So we're going to cover the side here with aluminum tape as well. So we'll cut another piece here. Move my drill out of the way. And I'll just kind of measure here on the side. Okay, I made it a little bit long. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip in here so that can go around that that post. Okay, and we'll just trim the excess off here. And what might work for us best is a xacto knife, so I'm going to go grab that real quick. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and trim the tape here off the side, clean everything up, make it look presentable. Careful not to cut yourself. You can see our most important spots there, the roof and the side are kind of shielded. We'll use the, sorry, my daughter's playing piano in the other room. We'll use the X-Acto knife to cut the hole here for the smokestack to come through. And make it so that looks a little presentable there. Try to make it a complete circle. We'll finish it here on the other side. It's okay if you can see a little bit of the metal. You know, these caboose chimneys had flashing and stuff like that. If you want, you can use a little black paint on there. But see, there we go. And once this is up in there, it's not. You really want that metal right there because it's going to protect the plastic here. So, shielded in here. I'm going to actually cut another little strip here to get closer to this window. These windows a lot of times will melt too, but you know, we're putting the diode in, so I'm not too worried about it. But you know, we want to protect our investment here. That's a little too thin. And You know, you'd be like, oh, I'll just get another one, but you know, the next one, if it melts, your next one is going to have the same problem. So. Make sure that the metal doesn't show through the window. But get it close to the window too. Alright, there we go. Alright, so this can go back in here. Lost one of our screws in here somewhere. But you find the those posts that help guide this into place. There we go. And then put our screw, excuse me, I got a cold here, don't mean to be sniffing in the microphone. And then we should have another screw here. It's where'd it go? Alright, I'll be right back. So now we're going to add the diode. Diodes reduce the voltage from the track into the smoke unit here. So first what we're going to do is we're going to tin the ends of the diode, get some flux on the ends of the diode. This one has flux on either end, and we're going to tin it using some solder from the soldering iron. Just helps make it easier to connect, make good connections. So we'll add. So should have used some hemostats here. It's pretty hot, so be careful. It'll heat up pretty good. Tinning the ends of the diode here. Just adding a little solder to each end. In the ends by adding solder to the ends. This will make it 10 times easier placing this. And then, ooh, that's hot. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to desolder this guy right here. This is where needle nose pliers or some hemostats come in handy. We're going to take that. And even if you have the TMCC version, this is what you want to do. You want to take one of these sides, whichever is more easily accessible to you, and solder between the on-off switch and that wire. So what we're going to do now is we're going to solder this on. I'm going to add some shrink tubing. Oh, that's too small. Alright. We are going to solder into this diode back into the on-off switch. Sorry, my shaky fingers here. Okay. I'm going to slide that down to protect that. Set that here to the side. Down. Guys, we're ready to go. We'll put this back together. I broke the railing here. I'll have to fix that. Put it back together the same way you took it apart. Hook this up first. Make sure we don't pinch any wires. Then we'll throw this on our test track. All right, so here is the finished caboose. Smoking pretty good here. Not too much. We don't want a lot of smoke because we don't want that really getting hot. Now I'll set this on the track and run it for about 15 minutes. Checking the temperature next to the smokestack, checking the smokestack temperature, and checking the side there where nearest where the smokestack is. If any of them feel like they're getting too hot, then you need to stop and go back and add another diode in series. Just add another one on there in between the smokestack or the smoke unit and the diode. So there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed fixing your K-line smoking caboose.